Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio, it's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. It is Wednesday night, October 9th. My name is Craig Fissinger. That's Ken Francis. TK is back in the sound room by himself tonight, Ken. Heavy D out on special assignment. We'll try to leave TK alone tonight, maybe checking with him a little bit later. But it's guys' night tonight, and we've got a lot of guys in the program, don't we?
Yes, we do, Craig. Very much looking forward to tonight's show. We've got a big interview on the phone lined up here in just a few minutes with Minster football star Ethan Wolf, the big tight end, just having a phenomenal year again for the Wildcats. So really looking forward to talking to Ethan. We're also going up to Fort Loramie, Craig, talk to Coach Matt Burgbacher. His Redskins are playing very well again this year, Craig, so we're looking forward to talking to him. And then after the break, Craig, we're going to boys cross country, and we're going to speak to the main guy over at Russia, Coach Doug Foster. All he's done, Craig, is bring the team to state every year since he's taken over the program. Looking for his 8th straight year this year, Craig. And so we're going to talk boys cross country with Coach Foster.
Yeah, looking forward to a lot of guys talk tonight. But before we get to all that, just like we do every week, let's get to that weekly trivia question. Lay it on me, Ken.
All right, Craig. I got a good one for you tonight, and we're talking Russia boys cross country. Okay.
Okay.
Who has the highest individual finish at the state cross country meet?
Ooh, good question.
Who has the highest individual finish at the boys cross country meet for a Russia cross country runner? Is it A, Luke Pullman, B, Derek Bornhorst, C, Mitch Hoyne, or D, Andy Grillo?
Oh, boy. 4 good ones.
Yeah, Luke Pullman, Derek Bornhorst, Mitch Hoyne, or Andy Grillo.
Okay, well, that's Andy, you're going back a few years on that one.
Going back a few.
But the rest of those guys, I certainly remember them running. I'm going to need a little help out there, viewers, so if you can send me the answer on Twitter, I'll check it out and try to get that one at the end of the show. All right, Ken, well, let's get started here and talking a little football. We're going to spend the first half of our show talking some football. We're going to start out talking some MAC football. And at the top of the conference right now, really no surprise. We got Marion Local and Coldwater. But in number 3, I am a little surprised. Well, we got the Minster Wildcats, don't we?
Yeah, Minster's playing very well, Craig. They started out the season with a tough loss at against Fort Loramie, and since then in MAC play, they've done very well. They're sitting 3-1 right now, Craig, in the MAC conference, and they got a big game coming up this Friday night against Parkway. Happens to be homecoming at Minster, and it's just an honor of ours tonight to have with us on the phone the star of the Minster Wildcats, Ethan Wolf.
Ethan, welcome to Fish Report Live. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hey, listen, Ken and I were just talking about your 3-1 start in the MAC, and we're a little bit surprised with that start. I want to ask you your opinion. Are you surprised with where you're at in the MAC right now?
Not so much surprised as I am, kind of proud of my team and how we've been doing. Like Ken was saying, we started off rough, and fortunately we've been tough enough to overcome the adversity that we had, and pull out those big MAC games. And unfortunately, we lost to Coldwater, and some things beat us to that game that I think we could have controlled. As far as we gave up 2 punt returns. So honestly, I'm not really surprised at where we're at, but I'm really proud of how my team's adjusted the adversity that we've been presented with.
All right, well, you got a new coach this year, Coach Stokes over there, his first season. I got to ask, that's got to be a little bit tough for anyone starting with a new coach. How was the transition when Coach Stokes got started there?
Yeah, it's tough. It's getting a lot better. We're starting to trust him more. That was, I think, our biggest problem when he came in was, we were used to doing things our way, and he came in and he, just like any other coach would, trying to change it. And it took a while for us to trust what he was telling us. And now, we're starting to believe in what he's doing, and obviously, it's paying off. We're getting better. We're not quite where we need to be, but we're improving every week. And we had a great week of practice this week, so hopefully we can come out this Friday and get another conference win.
Ethan, hi, this is Ken. We had you on the show last October, and during that time, we spoke to you a lot about the recruiting process that was going on for you and your future college career. Since then, you've committed to the University of Tennessee. You're going to be a volunteer. You're going to be in the SEC. It's just got to feel great to have that pressure off your shoulders. How has that affected your play this year?
Yeah, definitely. It does get a weight off my shoulders. Like you said, through the whole recruiting process, it seems to be the only thing on your mind. Because essentially, it's one of the biggest decisions that a high schooler is going to make in his life. So, but yeah, the weight's been lifted off, and now I can focus 100% on my high school team, and I think it's really helped my play. I'm starting to do a lot better and getting into the new offense, and obviously it's paying off.
Do you have contact with the Tennessee coaching staff right now, or do they pretty much just let you finish off your high school career and they'll take care of Ethan once you get down into Knoxville?
No, I keep in solid contact with them at least once or twice a week through Facebook, where they can call me once a week, or I can call them as many times as I want. And especially with me going down there in January, we try and keep as much contact in as possible. So, I keep in solid contact with them.
Do you, Fish Report, we like to report things first here, and I just saw tonight on Twitter, maybe you saw it, but did you hear about Tennessee and Virginia Tech coming to an agreement with a game that they're going to play at Bristol Motor Speedway in 2016?
No, I did not see that yet. That's awesome.
Expecting the largest college football crowd ever, 160,000 fans that can fit into Bristol Motor Speedway. So just so you know, you're going to be taking on the Hokies in 2016.
Awesome! I did not know that. Thanks for letting me know. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's good stuff. It was just released about an hour ago, so I didn't know if you knew that or not.
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't been on Twitter much. We had a pep rally tonight, so I haven't been on Twitter since then. But wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Let's talk just briefly about the game Friday night. You got Parkway coming into town. The Panthers are at 3-3. It's homecoming. Do you look past the Panthers a little bit because you got a homecoming going on, or I'm sure Coach doesn't let that happen?
Oh, absolutely not. No. He's talked about homecoming, and if we plan on using it as an excuse, then he's not going to be very happy, and I don't see why we should. This is definitely a game that we need to come out, fired up, and just put the pedal to the metal, and get this W, because it's a game that we can win. But if we stoop down to a lower level, it's a game that we could lose. So we need to come out and just gas them up and punch them in the face.
All right, listen, Ethan, last question. Ken mentioned our interview last year. One of the things we talked about last year was your little brother, Eli, and you explained to us how he was still learning the game. Well, apparently he's learned pretty well, because last week he kind of had a record-setting performance. I believe 10 receptions, maybe 252 yards. Little brother's doing pretty good. Is he likely to follow in his big brother's footsteps by any chance?
Yeah, I do remember that conversation. But yeah, he's doing a heck of a job this year. I did not expect him to be where he is right now. Just from the beginning of the season, he came out this year, and he's been widening the eyes of many people. People kind of knew who he was last year, and people always said he's got some big steps to, big shoes to fill, and he's doing more than that. He's, like you said, breaking records, and he's all over the place offensively and defensively. So yeah, he's gotten a lot better, and hopefully he takes some bigger strides than I did and is better than me.
All right, well, listen, Ethan, we're going to let you go, but we want to thank you for joining us tonight. Good luck this Friday night, and good luck the rest of this season.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ethan.
Yep, we'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye.
All right, that was Minster senior Ethan Wolf. Ken, and a couple weeks ago I was talking to you about my athletic ability with Adam Berkey there over at Marion Local. If I remember right, last year you were throwing some tight spirals to the big number 18 there at Minster.
Absolutely. Big Wolfie was going out, Craig. He was cutting about 20 yards downfield and cutting an little out pattern there. And, man, I was just hitting him with that tight spiral. And, but I will have to say Wolf's a big target to aim for, Craig. So it'd take a pretty bad aim not to hit him, but my passes were right there.
Well, maybe next time we'll have to get over there and you can try your skills out with his brother, Eli.
Yeah, that's about just about as big of a target.
All right, well let's move on, Ken. We talked some MAC football. Let's move over to the NWCC now, and really no surprises at the top of that conference. Fort Loramie and Lehman, and they're set to do battle this Friday.
Yeah, they are. It's going to be a huge game, Craig. Fort Loramie, Lehman doing battle. It's Fort Loramie's homecoming, Craig, and I'm sure the Redskins are going to be all jacked up for that one. The Lehman fans will be as well. So it's an honor tonight to have Matt Burgbacher on the phone with us tonight. And Matt, are you out there?
I sure am. I appreciate you guys having me on. I feel like a celebrity being on the Fish Report.
Well, hey, listen, we know you're watching some game film right now, so we won't keep you real long. But we know now Minster's a big rival for you guys. We know that, but we want to ask you about this Lehman game coming up. How does that one rank in your book?
Everybody asked me that when I got here 5 years ago, and they asked me, it's a big rivalry game, and I said, well, how's it a rivalry game? We've never won. So, 2 years ago, we beat them for the first time. We beat them last year as well. So it definitely is a rivalry game, and it matches right up there with Minster. It's two communities, or two schools that are close to each other, and two schools that kids know each other. Off the field, they're good friends, but, when we get on the field, it's a battle. And it's great. Dick Roll and I know each other real well, and Dick's a great coach, and I respect everything he does. And it's fun, to have games like this. It's towards the end of the season, a game that means something, and we're excited here for sure.
All right, well, listen, I don't know how far in advance you like to look, but it seems like this might be kind of an important game because from what I've read, whoever wins this game could get home field advantage in a first-round playoff game. Do you use something like that to motivate your kids at all?
We do. We tell our kids, how it is. We don't beat around the bush. We flat out told them that, this game is basically for the league title. This game, could potentially lead to a home playoff game, which our community here deserves at Fort Loramie. So, there's a lot riding on this game, but like I told the kids today at practice, this game's not our season. We still got 3 more games after this, whether we win, whether we lose. There's 3 games left, but this is the most important game we're going to play this year. Why? Because it's the next game we play. And again, our kids are focused. We've had 3 good days of practice, and it's something about when we have a week of Minster and a week of Lehman that our kids are focused and they're going to be ready to play.
Coach, hi, this is Ken Francis, and you've got 1 blemish on your record this year. Week 3, back to a very good Defiance Tenor squad. And in that game, Logan McGee and Tyler Kazmaier both carted off the field. A big loss for you, 2 of your more athletic, talented, skilled players. Could you give us a quick update on how these 2 guys are doing?
Yeah, after that night after those 2 guys got hurt, I sat in the locker room and talked to a couple of the coaches afterwards, and I said, what do we do? And it's kind of the philosophy we've had the last 4 years here is, we're not a one-man team. We're not a two-man team. We're just a good team. And we went with that philosophy, and we told the kids, hey, those guys are hurt, but you know what? And having Ada the next week, a very good football team there. Our kids came together, and it wasn't one person, but they all stepped their game up, and that was great to see from our kids. An update on the kids, Tyler has started some football activity this week with his knee, and it was great to see him today running out there and being able to cut and being able to do some things that obviously he was able to do before he got hurt. So that was, I don't know if he's going to be back this week or not. We got to kind of see how he does tomorrow at practice, and then go from there and make a decision. But when we make that decision, we need to keep the big picture in mind of, what's best for Tyler and what's best for our football team. Logan McGee, he actually was able to play some there in the Ada game. He did have a back injury. He went and got an x-ray there at the hospital after the game, and it just came back with some bruised ribs and a bruised spinal cord. So he was able to practice a little bit that next week, was able to play against Ada a little bit, and, did a fine job for us. So, Logan's back and, doing a great job like he always has, and Tyler's getting close.
Let's talk just a minute about Andy Gruey. Andy was thrown into the quarterback position there when Tyler went down, and what was your thoughts as far as the junior stepping in that quick and doing the job he's done?
You know, Andy was competing with Tyler there this summer, you know, for the starting job. So, you know, when Tyler got hurt, it wasn't like our well was dry. We had a kid that had some experience from the summer and the scrimmages. So, and Andy's a good athlete. So, you know, we weren't too concerned over that. You know, the concern I had, you know, he was thrown in the mix there at the end of the Tenor game where he had to throw some, you know, Tenor knew exactly what we were going to do, throw the ball. And they were able to drop some extra guys in coverage, and he threw some interceptions. Then the week after, you know, like I said, we're playing that good Ada team, and it's pouring down rain out there, and he just didn't have great conditions to throw the ball, and he struggled a little bit there. But what I'm most pleased with Andy Gruey is the last 2 weeks. He's 14 of 16. He's thrown 6 touchdowns, and he's done a fabulous job for us by leading our offense and being that leader out there that we expect from that quarterback position.
Give us a few other guys on your team, some of the skilled positions, some of the players that are having very good years for you.
You know, when I hear that question, you know, I have a hard time of saying 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 guys. So I'm gonna mention a few guys here, and hopefully you guys don't mind. Now, obviously, when you look at the stats, Delonte Thornton's having a great year for us, 974 yards rushing. He's got, I think, 15 touchdowns this year. And, you know, obviously he's a horse back there, and I'm very glad to have him on our team. But with Delonte, you know, like we do every year, you know, we have our running back stand back there, and we remove the offensive line and put a full defense out there, and we tell him to run one of his plays and see how far he gets. And he doesn't get very far. So he understands, our team understands that the offensive line is very important. And we, you know, up front there we got Zach Brandewy, Tristan Stripling, Luke Gigani, David Arns, Andy Meyer, and David Holthouse have done an outstanding job up there on the front line. And you look defensively, some of those guys that have done a great job, Troy Bonanza, Garrett Eilerman, you know, freshman Nate Plyman, Cole Cordonier, you know, those guys have done an outstanding job. But, you know, 3 other guys I'd really like to mention is sophomore Brad Plyman, junior Alex Dickerson, and sophomore Jacob Kitzmiller. That week that we played Ada, those 3 guys stepped in a starting role for us defensively and probably have played their best games of their career, you know, against that good Ada team. So, you know, we've got a lot of guys that have done a great job this year, and that's most pleasing to me. Just because, again, we're not a one-man show, we're not a two-man show. We're just a good, solid football team, and that's what I like to have.
All right, well, listen, Coach. One more question. We'll let you get back to your game film, but it's homecoming night this Friday night. I got to ask you: do you have to remind the guys to focus on football, or do they realize they've got something special going on here right now?
We talk about that one time, that it's homecoming week, and I want them to enjoy it. You know, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime, but they've got to understand they're the stars of the show come Friday night, and we've got to perform. Homecoming on Saturday isn't going to be so pleasant if we don't do the job on Friday night. So these guys are again, they are focused. They're ready to go. They're ready to play, and then, like I said earlier, it's an exciting time of the year. All the other sports are starting their tournament. I know cross country has the Shelby County League meet on Saturday. Volleyball team starts tournament next week, and you know it's just a great time of year for everybody. And I think with us having homecoming late, it's just kind of the tip of the iceberg with everything going on. So I look at it as a good thing. It's extra motivation for the boys, and we're playing a very, very good, you know, Lehman team. So you really couldn't ask for anything more.
All right. Well, listen, Coach, I'm glad you felt like a celebrity tonight. We want to wish you best of luck this Friday night against Lehman, and good luck the rest of the season. And thanks for joining us on the show tonight.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Ken, the head coach of the Fort Loramie Redskins, Matt Burgbacher. And I got to ask you for a prediction. Who you picking Friday night? Big game, Lehman, Loramie. Who you picking?
Hands down, Craig, I'm going with the Fort Loramie Redskins. You know, Lehman's got talent. Don't get me wrong. They've got Greg Spearman. They got Nick Rourke. They got Johnny Husa. They got some big guys up front. Craig, hands down, Fort Loramie by couple touchdowns.
All right. Well, I bet you all the Loramie viewers out there are cheering at their computer monitors right now. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for our football talk. We're going to take a short break, but hang in there because when we come back, we're going to be talking some cross country with Russia coach Doug Foster and a few of the boys.
My baby finally gave up on me. I can't say that I blame her. She just got tired of playing losing games. I should suck on my pride and beg that girl to come back home. Deep down I know she's better off, 'cause fools like me are meant to die alone. Someone give me one good reason, one good reason to smile. I'm trying to be that guy my mother prayed that I would be. Some days I feel like hit the mark, some days I fail hopelessly. I think I'm alright, I just stumble from time to time. Oh, my mother knows I'm trying to be that guy.
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live, everyone. Ken, before the break, we were talking some football. Now we're going to talk a little cross country, and it's the postseason, as Coach Burgbacher said there before the break. Getting into the county meet this week and get to see all them Shelby County teams this Saturday. You and I will. And the last time we saw those teams together was the preview. Now the Russia boys won the preview to a very good Botkins and Anna team, but Anna last week at the Anna Invitational handed it to Russia pretty good, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. You know, Anna's running very well right now. Coach Stewart's kids have come a long way, and I said maybe it's because they're chasing Coach Stewart running around all the time because he's getting a lot of miles in himself. So, but no, the Rockets are running very well. Adam Larger and Luke Geyer in particular. But look for Russia to close that gap Saturday, Craig. Russia, you know, I think they've got a lot of runners there that are really, really competing for that postseason spot. So I look for, 8, 10, 11 Russia kids to really be out there pushing it hard on Saturday. So it's going to be really tight. It's going to be really tight.
It sets up a real nice meet on Saturday, one that I'm really looking forward to. And last night we got a chance to stop out at a Russia practice, talk to Coach Foster, and talk to some of his boys about this Saturday. Let's see what they had to say.
Come on, Russia! Go out strong! Oh, Johnny, look at Johnny.
You started out the season winning the Shelby County Preview. You've been second in a lot of big meets like the Treaty City, Bob Shoal, Buck Creek, and most recently Anna last week. What do you attribute all your success to this season?
Well, we got a lot of kids that like to work at this sport. They love the sport, and I attribute a lot to the parents, to them, and their work ethic. We've got great kids to work with here, and they really accept what we do here and do a nice job. All of them do.
You've got a lot of depth this year. I know last week you had 13 kids that all ran under 19 minutes. Imagine that competition makes you just that much better.
In practice, it really pushes the kids in practice. And this is going to be a big week this week because the top 7 kids will move on to the district. And you'll see a lot of competitive competition between 1 through probably 10 this week. So we'll see what happens, both boys and girls. So,
all right, well, let's talk about this Saturday. You got the county meet coming up. The last time you ran against all these Shelby County schools was back at the preview. You guys, Botkins and Anna, were the top 3 teams. What are you expecting this Saturday?
Well, I expect our boys to run a lot better than they ran last week at the Invitational. I think we're a lot better team. It's really going to come down to a couple kids and Brian Drees and Steven Stickle. They have not ran not their best race this season last week. I think they're a little bit better than what they've ran so far this season. I think overall, once again, pack running is very important in this race. I know Anna last week kind of surprised us with going out with 3 kids right off the bat, and we got a little behind. We didn't really catch up with them, but we'll be a little more aggressive this week in our attempts to try to beat them this week at the league meet.
Let's go a little further into the postseason. After county, you have district. Your top 2 runners all season have been Jordan Garrity and Caleb Ball. Yet neither one of those guys, I don't think, has won a race. Do you need a race winner to be successful in the postseason?
Yes, I think these 2 kids have got to establish himself in the postseason more and get more aggressive. You need that number 1 runner, and that makes a big difference when you have a top runner up in the front. So yeah, we're looking for those kids to move up as the season progresses. If not those 2, maybe Stickle or some other kid can step up with them. I just think we're that talented where we got about 8 kids all can be pretty competitive within about 20 seconds of each other, I think, by the end of the season. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay, and last question, Coach. You got quite a tradition going here at Russia. You've been to the state meet, I believe, the last 7 years in a row. What's it going to take to get there for an 8th straight year?
Well, once again, I think consistency. I mean, it's not always it's the fastest kids that run. That you got to be consistent at the district and the regional, and not have a bad race. You can't have bad races from here on out. So, I mean, you got to have good race or be consistent, and that's the thing it's going to take to get to the state again this year. So, we'll see what happens.
All right, Ken, that was head coach Doug Foster. He talked about some boys, needing to step up there in the postseason. We're at the postseason. I want to ask you, do you think some boys can and will step up for the Raiders?
Absolutely, Craig. They've gotten good, consistent running, like Coach talked about all year, really, from Jordan Garrity and Caleb Ball. And then the 3 through about 10 have really bounced around a lot, to be honest with you. They've been all over the board. But look for a very competitive race, not Russia versus Anna so much as Russia versus Russia kids, because they're all going to be pushing each other. Like Coach said, they all want to be top 7 to move on to the district team and the regional team into the postseason. So it gets tough from here on out. It becomes an individual battle amongst all the kids, and I really do. I look for them to run very, very well Saturday. And one particular person, I look for Steve Stickle to just run a phenomenal race. He came on last year in the postseason. He also came on the year before in the postseason. So look for that to happen again Saturday.
All right, one other thing to watch, for me at least, will be that the individual winner of that race. And, at the preview, Joe Fuller won that over at Lehman. Of course, they're not in the SCL, so he's not going to be there. But I think right behind him was Austin Jones. He might be an easy pick, but Austin's been out for a couple weeks, I believe.
Yeah, he's got an IT band injury right now. Austin's a fantastic runner, Craig. I look for him to definitely run Saturday. Not sure how effective he's going to be, but even an Austin Jones on 80% is better than no Austin Jones when you're a Bakkens Trojan fan.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting thing to watch on Saturday, that's for sure. All right, Ken, well, listen, we got one more cross-country thing to talk about, and that was tonight's trivia question that you asked me about Russia runners. Why don't you give it to me again, and I'm going to check for my help on Twitter here.
All right, we were talking Russia boys cross-country. Which individual holds the highest finish at the state cross-country meet? Russia boys cross-country, which boy holds the highest individual finish? Is it Luke Pullman, Derek Bornhorst, Mitch Hoyne, or Andy Grillo?
Well, like I said, 4 good choices. I have had the opportunity to watch 3 of those guys run. Andy was a little bit before my time, but I know he tells me he was a really good runner back then. And I looked on Twitter here. I got one Twitter follower that gave me a little bit of help, a guy by the name of Big Army Dog. And Big Army Dog says Mitch Hoyne, so I'm gonna go with him. I want to say Mitch Hoyne.
Craig, all 4 of these guys are great runners, okay? And Luke Pullman, I thought would be your answer, okay, because he holds a school record. His highest finish at the state meet was actually 10th. But Derek Bornhorst actually holds the record. He finished 9th in 2008. So wow. Derek Bornhorst is the highest finisher ever. Mitch Hoyne, as a matter of fact, I think his highest finish was like 15th.
Okay.
So, and Andy Grillo, I'm not for sure where he finished, but I know he was a good runner.
Well, all good runners, that's for sure. And That was a good trivia question, Ken.
All right.
All right. Well, listen, that's going to do it for our show tonight. I do want to say special thanks to Ethan Wolf for joining us tonight, Coach Burgbacher and Coach Foster for chatting with us last night. As we leave tonight, we're going to show you our talk last night with a few Russia cross-country runners. Asked them a few random questions. Let's leave with seeing what they had to say. Give me one word to describe your team.
Hilarious.
Definitely fun.
Energetic.
What's one thing you eat or drink before a race?
Gatorade.
Pasta. Milk.
Which weather would you rather run in? Heat, rain, wind, or snow?
Snow. Oh, definitely snow.
Snow.
Name one thing you think about during the race other than the race.
Laying down and going to bed.
Probably a song, usually. Either girls or what I'm going to do after the race.
Mostly women.
Okay.
From Studio F in Russia, Ohio, for Ken Francis, Craig Fissinger, and TK, this is Heavy D, signing off saying good night and good fishing.